So thank you all so much for joining us. So this particular Empower Talks episode is 2 days long, which is amazing. I was aiming to be doing this for 1 day every single month. This year, I committed to 1 day a month to get a summit going. And this particular one had such a huge amount of people interested. I still had to turn away a couple of people, and yet we are into 2 days. I don't know that I can handle 3 days right now with my crazy schedule the way it is. 2 days was quite a feat. So today I have this will end at 3 o'clock or maybe a little bit sooner, depends. And then at 4 o'clock right away, I start with some classes, and it runs on into about 8:30 tonight. So it's it's gonna be a long day, and same thing tomorrow. So I'm super excited, though we have some fantastic speakers, as we always do. And the theme is the rocky road to success. So, if you're an entrepreneur, young or old, like young to it, and you're new to it, oh my gosh. If you haven't encountered any hills and rocky roads, you will. So all of these people will have something great to share with you. They're people at different levels of entrepreneurship. Some have been entrepreneurs for many, many years, and some have not been for that many years. And so they will share all of their wisdom with you. You'll be ready for whatever comes your way. These summits are meant to empower as many people as possible, which is why I have structured it in such a way that the public gets it for free, so that way the most amount of people, and you don't need to be giving me your email, you don't need to be giving me any kind of information to get this for free. It's live streaming on my Facebook. Hopefully it will live stream. And if it doesn't live stream, it will be recorded, and all the speakers can share it onto their social media. I'm going to be spreading it all over my social media, YouTube, LinkedIn, and then it will also go up onto my podcast platform. And up there are 6 million plus viewers. So there's a CBC and a CBS affiliate, Roku, Amazon, your typical Apple TV, like all the podcast stations. And then we have the CBC and the CBS affiliate, which brings us a huge amount of eyes onto us. So this will help to empower a great number of people. It will be absolutely amazing. And as always, the speakers are amazing. I can't wait till you start hearing them. So our first one is going to be Lori, and she has not arrived yet, but we already this morning had some shifting and changing, so she will be speaking for a little bit longer than what we had planned, because we had a person that got called into work and he couldn't make it. So Raul will join us at another summit. He's an amazing entrepreneur that, it's always good to hear from a variety of people, because you never know who you're going to relate to, and who is the person who's going to stimulate you, who's going to impress upon you, who's going to motivate you, inspire you. We don't know, right? There's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of speakers, so it's going to be amazing. And so rocky roads, very interesting. I've been an entrepreneur for many, many years, and I talk about my story a lot. I'll be speaking next week, talking about my story all the time, because I speak on self-love and self-worth, because I didn't have any. I certainly didn't have any when I started, and I didn't have any in my household. I came from a very abusive household. My father was very abusive. He was bipolar, and if he ran out of medication, it was a nightmare to be in that house for both myself and my mother. I don't have any siblings, which is probably a good thing, that more people didn't get exposed to that. But it was an interesting time, that's for sure. And I've had to overcome a number of different issues there. And I've always heard how I can't do this and I'll never amount to anything. And, all of that, all the negative stuff that you've heard other people say, I've had that pretty much my whole life. And I was actually lucky enough that the last 3.5, 4 years of my father's life, he spent in a nursing home with a lot of medication. And when he had a lot of proper medication, he was actually a really wonderful person. And I could see that. And I thought, you know what? I'm super grateful for this time that I had to forgive him, because, carrying around all that baggage was really heavy for me my whole life. And so he passed away about 6 years ago. And so the last 10 years have actually been pretty good. My relationship with my father was significantly better. So much so that when he actually did pass away, he was 82 years old. And he was in a nursing home, but I was so sad to see him. I thought, oh my gosh, this is the first time we had such a great relationship that I was so sorry to see it go. And I thought, oh my gosh, why does it have to end now that it's good? And it's okay. I guess it did what it was supposed to do. And then in the last, like I said, 4 years, I spent that time with him. I was super lucky. I consider myself super lucky. I had a great relationship with my mom. There was nothing to forgive. There was, the only forgiveness I had with her was, why didn't you leave my dad? And then we could have had peace, but then I would have had all these life lessons that I got from him. And so, yeah, it was good. It was really good. I was super grateful for that time frame. And yeah, it's big. It's a big deal forgiving people, and it's huge. When you forgive someone, that forgiveness isn't really for them. I mean, that's how people think, but really the forgiveness is really for you. And it it's it's a gift. It's actually a gift. So the fact that my father actually had this, not so great life, had given me this not so great life, um, gave me the opportunity to get, angry with him and fearful and all these other crazy emotions and everything. I'm thinking I can't do this and I can't do that. All of this happened. And then at the end, it gave me a platform. It gave me an opportunity to extend that forgiveness to him, which was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, I can't stress that enough. And interestingly enough, that I'm talking about this right now, and right about next week, my book should be ready. We're just working on the cover. And I have a book coming out called Forgiveness is for Me, Not Them. And it's part of my Self-Empowerment Reset series. So it was an interesting book, because I'll tell you, my last book that I did before that, I think we put it together in less than 2 months, and it had to come out before Christmas, and I did it. Somehow we had 21 authors in there, and we got it out in, I think it was 6 weeks, really. This one, however, the forgiveness one, kept changing. People would come, they would want to write a chapter, and then they would pull out, and then they would write a chapter, and then they would not, or they weren't ready, or they couldn't write it, or, oh my gosh, I'm struggling with this. I myself changed my chapters 3 times. So it took almost a year to put together. And it's just, sometimes it is what it is. You can't, you got to go with the energy. It's just the way it worked out. And it's not terrible. It's not right or wrong. It just is what it is. And sometimes you have to move with the flow, and it's not always, great. Oh, there's some tech issues. Oh, poor Lori's trying to get in, and she's got tech issues. Yeah, she's not usually late, but this is the kind of thing that also happens when you do virtual summits. You're bound to come across technology issues. And, things come up, like life happens, like life is what it is. It's not going to change just because you're having a virtual summit or because you're having an event. Stuff happens, speakers pull out because of various things. This particular gentleman got called back into work, which, what can you do, right? It is what it is. Other people can't, technology has gotten in their way, or like there's so many things. And this is entrepreneurship. Sometimes it happens, and then you got to sit there and tell people about your book, and you got to tell them about your story, because now you're talking until they come in, which is totally okay. I talk about my story all the time, so I'm happy to share. And, as a result, so back to my story with my dad, and, as a result of all of this anxiety and always being put down, self-love just wasn't in my aura. It just wasn't. I always thought, oh, I'm gonna have to work really hard for everything. I can't really amount to anything. I can't really do this. Oh, I probably shouldn't even when I was 17 years old, I went to my guidance counselor in high school, and I was working at that time. Okay, so now well, I'm 62 years old. So anyone who's in the Toronto, Canada area will know that a very long time ago, we had a store called Le Chateau. In fact, I think there's still a few of them left around here, but back then it was like the coolest store ever. And I worked there, and you had to look the part. So I was always dressed really well, always had great hair, great makeup, looked really great. So I went to the guidance counselor and I said, hey, I'm really interested in psychology, but I don't know if I should take psychology in university or psychiatry. I don't really understand the difference. And so he said, well, psychology is about a 4-year course, and psychiatry is about an 8-year course, and you'll be able to write prescriptions for people. And I go, no, I don't really want to do that. I just kind of want to help them heal in various other ways. And so, hang on. Oh, she needs to email. So, I said to him, which one do you think I should take? And I said, or the other option is that I go to college and I take business admin, not business admin, sorry, business retail management, I think it was called. I can't remember what the name of the course was. And he says, yeah, I think that's the one that you should take because you're too pretty to go to university. And I'm like, what? Like, he would probably go to jail for that comment today. But and I did, because he was an authority figure. That's who I listened to. And that's kind of what happened. And, this kind of goes on and on and on. So, that all led me to, I had a pretty good marriage. I mean, I married a very nice man, we all partied together, and he kind of didn't stop, and I kind of did stop. Well, not stop partying completely, but partying in the way that you do when you're younger. So I was married when I was 26, and, he liked alcohol more than I did. And so that didn't really work out. So I ended up leaving him, and within about a year, maybe a year and a half, I had left him. So, divorce. My mom passed away, which was horrifying for me. And as it is for most people, not just me. And I had shut down a business that I kind of didn't want to, but knew it was time to. So I was kind of on the fence. And then in the end, I filed for bankruptcy because everything was in my name, including all of our debts. So I was like, wow, that's a lot of things. Those are 4 major life things that we have that all happened in a year and a half, which is really bad. So I've got some things to, that I had some things that I had to do and get over. I spent a long time getting over some of those things. The money one was really tough. because it's connected to your self-worth, right? And what you do is not worthy of big payments. And so even today, it comes up, it sneaks up on me, but I work really hard to see, and I work really hard, and it should be easy. It shouldn't really be hard, but I have now made it into a regular practice, so it's not so hard. So I do certain things that just work for me. So anyways, yes, so there was a lot of things to work through, and it wasn't easy. I worked on things like my credit. I worked on, oh my gosh, on loving myself. I worked on forgiving myself. None of these things are easy for any of us to do, really, but it was totally worth it. And I highly, highly recommend it. And I can tell you more later because we finally have Lori with us. So with that, I'm going to, hi, Lori. Thanks so much for waiting. I, uh, I was trying to speak until you got here.